Hi, welcome to Prees in a Pod. So, I had a whole episode topic planned where I was like, okay, I'm going to structure my episodes to talk about different topics and answer this very fundamental question I had, which is that how did the events of my life, whether it was trauma, whether it was my upbringing, whether it was my spiritual and religious beliefs, whether it was like my social life, things like that, how did all of that shape me into the person who I am? Like, how does that affect who I am, how I behave, etc.? And of course, there is therapy for that, and I am in therapy. I have been for more than 5 years now. But the thing is, the way that I approach therapy, or the way that I've been using it, is that I've been just talking about like what happened during the week. If there's anything major that happened, anything that was like pressing on my mind, that's kind of what I talk about. So I haven't been able to actually dig deep into my past and try to uncover that, right? So I had all that planned, and I was trying to record an episode earlier today, and I kept starting it over again. And then I went out on a first date, and it went not horribly, but like it was not a good first date. And I was like, you know what? I think I should just reframe my episodes to just be like recaps of my day, because I mean, every day is going to have something different, right? It's going to have different situations. So I was like, yep, let's just redo this, so that first of all, it's like also starting the podcast off in like a light manner, right? It's just like, talking about my day, like what happened. And then obviously like later on, I can do deep dives on certain topics that are on my mind. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to talk about my day. So today is Monday, August 24th. It is 8:38 p.m. when I'm recording this. So not much happened today. I was supposed to catch up on some work, and I wasn't able to do that. But I'm going to work on it later tonight. I also had, again, so many things planned. Like, okay, I'm going to try to work on my modeling portfolio and my comp card so I can start sending it to agencies. I'm going to try to research different career paths for myself, because I have to update my dad in about 2 weeks with, what direction I want to go in, right? So I have all these tasks planned. Like, I need to do this, need to do that. And that's why I'm like trying to use Notion or, some sort of organization system. And that's still a work in progress, honestly. Like, I'm still trying to, figure that out. Just Notion is so daunting, because it's like one of those like jack of all trades, right? But it's like, what exactly do you use it for? How do I most effectively use it, right? Like, how do I optimize it? So I also have to work on that. And then I have to just also start, getting into like good habits, like going on walks, or even my eating habits haven't been that good lately. I feel like I've been skipping meals, so I need to work on that. But yeah, so did not make much progress today. I feel like after breakfast, I was just like, okay, this is so insignificant, but I was actually like cleaning my shoes, because I have like these ankle booties and then bare paws, and I was like, they are very dirty. I need to clean them for the fall, right? So I just cleaned those, and I was like, okay, I probably got a lot of like dirt and stuff on me, so I'm going to shower. So then I showered, and then that's when I was like, okay, I need to record a podcast episode. And then I literally sat down to do that. And then I filmed so many different takes, and then I kept deleting it and restarting. So, and then I was like, you know what? I give up. I'm just going to maybe work on it later tonight. And now I'm doing that. And then I went on a date, and it was with a guy I met on Hinge. And oh wait, before that actually, I had scheduled a modeling post for today because I wanted to. So with the shoot I did in Mumbai this summer, I have a lot of pictures from that, right? So I was gonna space it out. Like, okay, I'll stagger it out. But between my first and second post, there was like maybe a 2 week gap. So I was like, okay, I need to start scheduling it so that it's more consistent, like every 5 days or so. So I posted, and then already this guy from college, like from grad school, he had swiped up on like one of my Instagram notes. But then when my scheduled post went up, then he again, like, he sent me my post, and he was trying to, make some flirty comments and stuff like that. And he was trying to ask me out. And then I was like, okay, fine, sure, whatever. But then he kept talking, and he was like, oh, you just dress cute, and I'll make the reservations, I'll pick you up, and then if you behave, then you'll get a surprise. And I'm like, if I behave, like, what the hell? Am I like am I supposed to be like a good girl or something like that? Like, why are you talking to me like this, And I was like, what do you mean by that? And he's like, oh yeah, if you don't distract me from my plans, and I'm just like, dude, why? Like, oh my God, I was so annoyed. And the thing is that, okay, I had a conversation with a few friends, and when I was making my dating profiles last week, they were like, oh, you should use your high quality photos from your Instagram. But I was like, no, because those have me wearing very, I wouldn't say heavy, but definitely like accentuated makeup, right? Like, that's not how I look on a daily basis. And so I don't want to catfish anybody. Like, when I go on dates, I literally just dress in casual. I don't even wear makeup, whatever, right? So, because I don't want them to be like, you don't look like what you did in your photos. So then, I feel like this proved my point, because I feel like this guy was only swiping up because of my modeling posts. And I want to point out that even like last week, I had 2 people who would send me my post, and then they'd be like, or they'd swipe up and they'd be like, one guy said, I like what I'm seeing. And before it could get any further, I just said thank you, and I just removed him from my Instagram. Like, I unfollowed him, removed him as a follower, because I was scared that, he was going to say something more. And then before that, there was another guy who apparently had been crushing on me for months. And then he was like, oh, am I the only one who's had a crush on you for months, or was it mutual? And I'm like, you didn't have any photos on your Instagram, so how would it be mutual? Like, you only have your profile picture, but you don't have any posts. You don't post on your story, anything like that. So, like, how can it be mutual? He's like, oh yeah, good point. And I'm like, yeah, like. And then whenever I'd post my modeling stuff, he's like, oh, where's the boyfriend application at? And I'm like, so that's why I have this fear that these people are only just swiping up because of my modeling post, because they like what they see. But it's like, number one, I don't look like that on a daily basis. Number two, sometimes, like, with their messages, it makes me feel like I'm a piece of meat, and I hate that. And then even like last week, like I think this past weekend, someone that I'd gone out with like last year, he also messaged me because he saw me on Tinder. And I mean, I was relieved to hear from him, because it's like, okay, someone familiar, right? But then he was like, oh yeah, like, you're so cute, you're just my type. And then I was like, yeah, I know. Like, I mean, we met before last year, right? So, like, I know. But he was like, oh yeah, I remember you had like the cutest little butt, and it would fit right in my hand. And I'm like, bro, why are you objectifying me? Why would I want to hear a comment about my ass? That doesn't make me feel good. Like, it just feels like you just see me for my body, and that's it. Like, that pissed me off. So, as you will, as you'll notice in future episodes or when talking to me, you'll notice I have a very low tolerance now for anything. Like, if anyone says anything that I don't like, I snap. And yeah, it's very frustrating. And honestly, I wasn't even on the apps looking for anything in particular. I wasn't even like, oh, I'm looking for something long term. Like, that was me maybe 4 months ago, and now I'm just like, whatever. And I'll actually get into why and maybe in another episode, because that will probably be like my recap of my India trip, since there was a lot that happened there. But yeah, and then yeah, so then I went out this date, right? And this guy, first of all, he said he was from Delhi, and that gave me flashbacks of my most recent ex, because he was also from Delhi. And if you don't know, Delhi people have like a reputation of being very aggressive, like the way that they talk, a lot of slang, they use the word like motherfucker or sister fucker in like every sentence when they're talking. And maybe it's slang or whatever, but it doesn't make you look mature. It just makes you sound like childish, immature, And then he was like mentioning how he's like, he has a very like unfiltered, I guess, not voice, but just very unfiltered speech. And so he mentioned that he said a couple of things at work, one of them being like, so his boss went on paternity leave, and he's like, oh yeah, like, can we just like, if I wanted paternity leave too, like, couldn't I just lie about it? And just like lie that, I have a kid or whatever, and then just get like 3-4 weeks off. And then he also said like, oh yeah, like, why can't I just like adopt a kid who's like 3 or 4 years old, so I can just skip like the terrible twos, or the first three months, or the first 3 years, sorry, because then it's like you escape the terrible twos, terrible threes. And then he literally said that he has gotten called into HR twice. And I'm like, dude, why would you admit that on a date? Like, I'm glad you did, because it showed me your true colors, but why would you admit that? Like, that is so weird. And I just feel like the more he was talking, and even like when he was like, oh, do you speak Hindi? And I'm like, yeah, like, and he's like, oh, how do you know Hindi? And I'm like, well, I took Hindi tuition classes as a kid. And he's like, why? Like, there's no need for that, or like there's no use for that. I'm like, of course there's a use. Like, my relatives speak in Hindi. I go to India every single year. Like, duh, obviously I'm going to know Hindi. I'm not trying to be one of those like, whitewash people who don't know their mother tongue, right? And he was like, yeah, but like everyone speaks in English nowadays. I'm like, no, they don't. Okay, like, I'm glad I know Hindi. Okay, maybe it's not the best, maybe I'm not fluent, but I still know it, and I'm glad I do. Like, I'm glad I took those classes as a kid. So overall, like, again, just the vibe I was getting from him, and plus, like, again, I was trying to give him a chance, because I was like, okay, maybe in person, like, things will be different, like, even looks wise. But even then, like, he had a whole beard, and like, for those of you who don't know, I'm really not like a fan of facial hair. It just doesn't work for me. So that was another thing where I was like, okay, even looks wise, like, it just kind of creeps me out. But again, like, I really try to just give him a chance. Like, maybe in person it'd be different. But yeah, needless to say, I didn't agree with some of the things he said. I told him like, to be honest, I didn't agree with some of the things you said. And he's like, oh, well, not all of it was true. I'm like, really? Like, what part of it wasn't true? And then I drove back home after like an hour of being on the date. And then now I'm just talking to you guys. So that is pretty much what happened today. Again, it's been very slow, but some frustrating situations. I mean, I'm still on the apps just because, I already have all these ongoing conversations. I don't want to just like delete them now, and like, I just want to see them through. But I've paused all my profiles, so I'm not tempted to swipe, or I'm not tempted to like any new matches that come in on Hinge, right? I'm on Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, so I just paused it, so I'm not talking to any new people. But yeah, that is what happened. Um, and my head kind of, it doesn't hurt, but it's just like, I think I'm just tired from that conversation. It was just, ugh. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it there because it's already like 15 minutes long. I don't want to keep rambling for like 50 minutes or so. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I think I'm gonna start doing like just daily recaps of like what happened in the day, right? If anything interesting happened. And then, like I said, in the future, I will probably do deep dives on like certain topics like childhood, spiritual beliefs, dating, social life, career, things like that. But thank you for listening, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye.